Before we sing this next song, I'm Rob's brother Steve, and if I've seen you and you thought I was Rob, and it was Rob just being a jerk. I always laugh. Places where I go that Rob has been, people come up to me and they go, oh. I kind of get that look and I go, yeah, I'm not Rob. It's like I was usually when I get to the front door of the house and we get here, it usually takes a day before some of the neighbors come by and go, oh. They have that look. So.
By the way, Steve was the one who, if you've heard the story, shot the BB up my nose. That was Steve. So.
It was a long time ago and he deserved it. But, it's so amazing. If you spend time reading the Bible and just poring over things about what God has given us and God is doing in our life. Every year as I read through the Christmas story around this time, I find something new in it. It's really astonishing to me that this year was the first year I noticed. I actually heard someone on the radio talking about how interesting that we're in Iraq. Our armed forces are in Iraq, and how many years ago the wise men came from Iraq in that area, probably in Babylon. And I thought it was kind of ironic, and I started kind of looking into this, and our pastor, our church talked about it. And it's an amazing story. You think about, at least 3 wise men, maybe more, probably more in the whole caravan that they came with. And these guys had been waiting through generation after generation for this star to appear. And we forget that. They're in a country where no one else really probably believed what they believed, and there's this few remnant of people that are reading over the writings of Daniel probably. And they're reading all these writings, they're going, it's coming, we know it's coming. And they would die off, and the next generation would come up. And I wonder if after a while they said, after 600 years, it hasn't happened. Maybe it never will. You think about that moment when they finally saw that star, and how amazing that must have been. It's like, they were right, let's go. And they took off and they left for Israel. And as wise men, they probably knew that kings are probably going to be in a place like Jerusalem. And they went to Jerusalem, and the star kind of disappeared right before it, so they just instinctively went to Jerusalem. They thought, kings are born here. And they went to the king and said, where is he who is king of the Jews? And Herod kind of got a little angry about that, because he was the king, and who's this new king? And so I'm sure the wise men kind of went, wait a second, what's going on here? What kind of strange thing is this? This isn't the way we expected it to be. This is the king. This is the king that's been promised, that generation after generation kept looking up at the stars and looking for that star. And they get there, and I'm sure they were disappointed. And then the Bible says that they followed that star on to Bethlehem after some people told them that, and it came over the place where Jesus was living. And they walked in there, and I'm sure they kind of thought a little strange thoughts as they walked through the kind of nice part of Bethlehem. They go, oh yeah, this isn't quite the palace in Jerusalem, but this is the nice part of Bethlehem. And the star kept moving. Okay, all right. Kept going to the not so nice part of town, and they thought, well, maybe here, hopefully. And it kept going into the not nice at all kind of part of town, and then they went down a gravel road in the back of that to this little house, and this little family. And it says they went in there, and the strange thing is that the wise men came in, and they bowed themselves to the ground. And the picture is like, a lot of times we see pictures of Muslims, that they bow and they put their face down on the ground. And that's the picture of what they're doing. And they worship the king. They worship this little boy. I thought, can you imagine seeing him walk in the room, and there's mom and dad and a little boy. And these wise men come in all their regalia. I mean, they come probably with a caravan. There's probably a lot of people in this horrible part of town. And they walk up to this house, little tiny house. They walk in and bow down before Jesus. I thought, man, they got it. In a place that really should have got it, in Israel, they were one of the few that did. And we are, in a sense, the ancestors of that same kind of worship. We are still looking for something that's going to happen. We're looking toward the future. We're looking toward Jesus coming back to this earth. We're looking to worship and bow down to that Jesus. A lot of times I think we think that Jesus is the God who does big, huge things. And he does. But sometimes the thing that Jesus does that's the most amazing thing of all was embodied by who he was. He wasn't a king to come and rule over people at that time. He was a king to be a servant. I don't understand that. But it's amazing. See, as we come to worship Jesus, and we get a picture of who he really is, it changes who we are and how we worship. Let's sing together, Here I Am to Worship. Light of the world, you step down into darkness. Open my eyes, let me see beauty that made this heart adore you. Hope of a life spent with you. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. King of all days, oh so highly exalted, glorious in heaven above. Humbly you came to the earth you created, all for the sake we came for. So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Light of the world, you step down